What is up, guys? Welcome back. Good morning and welcome back to what is part 2. It's a new day, but part 2 of the Ls3 G35 build, mainly on the AKEBONO brakes and the suspension stuff, the stuff that we didn't get done from, well, the last video. So I got the parts, I got the stuff necessary, and now we are gonna get back on it. I'm gonna finish these damn things today if it's the last thing that I do. But we also have a couple things that Mike brought over. We got like some goodies. I got this, this is for the steam port that will actually go in the upper radiator hose. So we might figure that out today. However, it is a possibility we're not gonna do this, only for the fact that I need to put the radiator on and up to it, and I don't know if we're gonna do that yet. However, we do have the ATI dampener that I need to get this thing off, and I need to get that one on. So I think we will be doing that today. We have a long day ahead of us. It's windy, it's kind of cool out, so it's really nice. And you know, it's, man, I always do that, but sorry, it's really nice to be able to have it kind of cool outside and make it where the working conditions are like perfect. So let's get a lot done today. All right, and because in the last video I kind of started this, but I didn't really explain anything, I want to start fresh from the very first step in order to show you the full walkthrough on how to do the AKEBONOs, because I know some of you are going to do this and follow this along, and I want to make it as apparently clear as possible. So this is like I just took off the braided line and the caliper and everything like that down to the knuckle. Luckily, we have these braided lines. These were actually already on the car, and the nice thing about the braided lines is they work for the factory ones, it works for the Brembo upgrade, and it also works for the AKEBONO. So we don't have to do anything with that. First thing we're gonna do, you can see that I already did it, but I lopped off this part of the dust shield, because when you put the bracket on and you go to put on the caliper, it actually will hit if this is like sticking out. So I just used some shears like this, and I cut up pretty much behind the knuckle, so I know that that's not going to be in my way. So first things first, here is the different brackets. Here is some of the hardware that you get. I'll explain that in a minute from Z1. You can see on the brackets that they have these relief cuts. One is for this side, meaning this one, and this one is for the other side, how the bracket sits. So you can see that the part that's relief in cut here and here is actually, I know the lighting's like really crap, you can see it's threaded. So that we will put like this, where the indentation will be on the bottom one on the front. We're doing the front left, the driver's side. And if I use the camera, you can look through and see that the holes line up exactly. So also, the top bolt up here, you can see, is flattened off, so that way it gives me enough room for this hole to line up here. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the coarse thread. These Allens, you guys know that the reason why I didn't do this in the last video is because I didn't have this huge Allen that I went and got. And out of the package here, you can see that there are washers. I put one washer on here. So we are gonna use these to secure into here and here, and that will hold it to the car. And then I took the washers off the factory here, and I used the crush washers along with the factory washers on the fine thread silver bolts. So these are gonna be what hold the caliper to the bracket on the car. So let's get this on first. Let me show you how that looks, and then we're gonna put the caliper on, and I'll show you how that looks. Bracket all secured. One thing I didn't mention that I wanna mention is I'm using orange thread locker on these bolts. Since these don't have a crush washer, I do not want these coming loose. Having the bracket get loose and then the brake coming off or whatever would be all bad. So I wanted to make sure that these are tight as I can get them with thread locker, so this thing will not be moving. This is the only two bolts on this whole thing, this and on this other side, that I'm going to use the thread locker, however, since it's a bracket that doesn't come with the car. Next, I have the rotor on. I secured it with a lug nut so that way it keeps it flat. So when I put this big jammy on, it makes it much easier to line up with the holes on the bracket. So now we're gonna put this on. All right, give you guys a look. This thing is huge. I mean, that's my hand compared to it. And you can see, okay, I don't have huge hands. However, you can see it's still pretty massive. Come around here, the bolts with the crush washer on here, you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but it's not protruding out any. So when we go to turn it, it's just nice and smooth. The way we change the pads on this is really nice. You don't have to take the caliper off. You actually do it from here. But I'm gonna get all of these on first, and then we're gonna change pads and I'll show you. So the other thing, you can see this like lines up perfectly. I'll just have to turn it a little bit, but then that will be on there. All right, I decided to put the line on so you can see it's ran real nice through the bracket here, up onto the BC coilover, and back to the factory. So this side now will be completely done, minus changing the pads, but we're gonna do that in a bit. Man, look how nice it looks. The silver with the silver. Lightweight, jealous. I mean, I love my Brembos. Well, my Brembos, sorry, wrong car. But these AKEBONOs are just, they are even bigger than the Brembos, and I know they're gonna stop better. Man, this looks beautiful. Okay, let's do the other side. All right, flew together and put this one all done and on. So now I'll walk around the front. Man, it looks good. Just looks like it means business. All right, onto the rear. All right, wheel off for the rear. One thing I forgot to mention that I thought I did, but better late than never. When you are doing the Brembos or the AKEBONOs, they have bleeders on the outside. You wanna make sure that the bleeder is always facing up. So that's a good way to tell what side it is too. If you don't see the L or the R or the front left or whatever, you need to make sure that the bleeders are facing up, because air will travel up, and that's the way that you'll have to bleed them. If they're pointing down, you're never gonna get it completely bled. So make sure the bleeders are up on all four corners. With that being said, we're coming back here to the rear. You can see I have the rear one. These don't need a bracket. These will actually bolt in the factory position. I just have to take these off. These calipers came with the bolts that actually were off the car, and it comes with this. You can't use this line. I don't really know why, to be completely honest, but I do know I have to replace it. So because this has a metal line that goes to this block right here, and then it has the rubber line that goes to here, we're gonna be doing that. I wish we had the steel braided lines. I don't know why there isn't steel braided lines on the rear of this car, but because this is a hard line here from this block, I think it should be just fine, and it is on the rear of the car. At least the front has a stainless braided, so like 65% of your stopping is from the front anyway. So anyway, but we're gonna have to take this off. I'm gonna use a 10 wrench like this. It's a line wrench. You can see it looks a little bit different. It locks on there so it doesn't strip. So we're gonna take that off. We're gonna pull this little clip off, and then this whole thing is coming off, and this will go onto here. One thing with the rear, you can see how this covers over the rotor. We're gonna actually have to cut that lip off because this rotor is significantly bigger for the rear as well. We don't need to have this overhang, it will hit. So I'm gonna use the shears like I did, and I'll just cut all the way around, and that should give us the space that we need for it. Oh, another thing, make sure the e-brake is off, because the e-brake shoes are inside the rear here. If it's on, it'll hold this steady and it'll be very difficult to pull off. So I made sure it's off. Another thing, this little window right here will give us access to the rotator on the inside that will spread or close the shoes on the inside. So what I want to do is I want to turn it so that way they close and make it real easy for the rotor to come off. Let me take this window off, and I'm gonna try my best to show you what it looks like in there and what direction to go. You're gonna need a flathead screwdriver to do it, but you'll rotate it back, I believe, so that way these close and the rotor will pop right off, and then when we put the new stuff on, we can use this to tighten it down. I'll show you guys how to do that to adjust the e-brake. So not only will you have all new brakes on the outside, the e-brake will be adjusted as well. All right, so I have everything off. I just trimmed this, I cut it around, try to do the best I can as far as making it look like circle and uniform. It's not too bad, but we had to cut that lip off. And I also took this off to show you it's a better visual so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. This thing right here that you spin, depending on which way you spin, will either open this or close this, and that's for the e-brake. The e-brake window is this little rubber thing right here. Fortunately for me, I was able to pull the rotor off. It was loose enough, but I do want to adjust it when we put this new big dog on. We also took off this part right here. I took off the bolt. I know it's a little bit dark, I'm sorry. But anyway, so if you go on here and you go up, you can see how it closes it. And that makes it where these are pulling together, and that will make it easier. So when you go through the window, you'll rotate this, you'll look for this little dial, and then you will take your screwdriver and you'll pry up on it like so, and that will make it where it gets looser. When we go to tighten it, we'll just go the opposite way, and we'll go down, but we'll actually be able to use the window to be able to pry off of it and go down. Once it stops and you can't go anymore, when the new rotor is on, then we'll take it and we'll back it off one and see if the rotor spins. And once the rotor spins, then we know that it'll be adjusted. But I'll show you when I go to do it. I'm just trying to show you a visual representation that's very easy to see on camera. So that's what that is used for. But now we have, this is all off. So now we can put the rotor on and we can put on the new AKEBONO. So we're gonna do that now. Okay, so all bolted up, ready to go. You can see I put the window where the little dial is at. This is all tight. This is all back on. So it goes together really easy. Now the last thing I'm gonna have to show you, like I said, is the adjustment process. Let's see if I can do this. So the little dial is in there. You can see if I move this, that it moves. Let me put it back, kind of where I need it. And now I'm just going to spin this until it stops, pretty much. Okay, now I can't pull down on it anymore, which means I can't move the rotor if I try. So I'll come back and I'll back it off like 2, knowing that this spins now. Now this side is fully in adjustment. So I just need to steal the little window out of there, or the little rubber piece for the window, put it in here, and this side is done. We're gonna head over and go take care of the other side. All right, and so this side is all finished. It has been a few minutes. You can see my dude's over here. We actually just got back from lunch. Hella long. It has been a while.
I see you picked up the camera. Cat!
No, but no. It's been about an hour. It's been an hour.
Than that.
It's been an hour.
You did that complete side. We sat here and bullshit trying to figure out the floor down there, and we was looking at YouTube.
Okay, so I was trying to figure this out.
He forgot to even freaking vlog it. I'm like, bruh, you weren't even vlogging. You forgot to tell.
I had to put my camera on the charger first off, and then number 2, we got back from lunch. Here, let me tell you the whole timeline. We got back from lunch. We were bullshitting around. I started working on this last part because you guys saw in the last clip, this was the last one that I had to do. The homie Dan came over, picked me up. We all went out to lunch. We messed up Mike's his keto thing or whatever you're on.
Not on keto.
Oh, what are you?
Remember, doing? I finished my juice, and now I'm like finally like, all right.
Look at this man getting gains.
I want some weight out here.
Yeah, and he's getting look at
16
look
pounds.
at him skinnier. Man, I need to work.
Pretty soon y'all gonna see me at Aaron house laying on this couch with nothing but just nipple tape. And that's like, so his video's gonna get demonetized. Other than that, I might be over here just in some fucking hoochie daddy shorts.
Hoochie daddy?
Hey, I'm gonna be over here with a romper with the sleeves hanging off. You know how when wrestlers get hella mad, they take the straps off. They're fighting.
Oh yeah, they're just
That's gonna be me. 20 pounds, 20 more
pounds
to go.
Yeah, then I open up this, and because I've never done one of these before, we had to consult with the Master Tech Ray, dude that builds all his vets, make sure I'm doing this correctly because I have never done one of these, but it really wasn't that hard. All I had to do was put bolts in it.
He followed the little dots.
I followed the directions. It says that there is, you guys can see this offset hole with this little dot. Well, on the hub underneath, there's also one that you line up. And that was pretty much it. These outer ones are short, they go into the hub. These long ones go through for the accessory drive on the back here. It even is stupid proof and it says engine side. So at least I know I did it correctly. Next thing we need to do though is I need to figure out the whole ICT thing, because we're gonna pull this off. Oh, we don't have the bolt, so we're not gonna be putting the dampener on. So that probably will be in the next video. But I do need to figure out how to put the bracket on for the alternator, because Mike brought the alternator for this finally, so we can put this on.
Hey, what you mean finally? Last time it didn't fit.
Yeah, he's not wrong there. You guys know that it doesn't fit on here. So I started marking, I'm gonna be cutting off of here, I think, and then, yeah, I think we're gonna start getting the stuff together. He brought up a good point though. I don't know the belt, so when we figure out the belt size, we'll go from there. But
7 trips to AutoZone later, figure out the belt.
I feel like if we just like take an old belt and cut it and put it on there, we could like.
Tight? What if, even though the alternator isn't up top, we just moved it down low?
If it's still the same, ooh, that'd be tight. That would be tight. But
Hey, first things first,
I mean, if you guys have watched our videos, you know we don't get lucky like that. So there's no way we're getting lucky with that.
We can always pull this build off and pull
Oh,
and pray.
I wonder, because the alternator is going to be where that AC is at, I wonder if we could run, is it going to be running the alternator off of the main one, or is it running off of an AC? I wonder if we could use that if the pulley lines up, because with the back of this one right here.
Nah, because it's like a 4 rib.
Oh.
The alternator's a 6.
True,
I think it still uses the regular alternator one.
Oh, well, it was the thought, I guess, but that ain't gonna work.
Man, you know what? I thought they sent it with a freaking belt. Should have ordered it with a belt.
Anyway.
Shut up.
So now I need to, he brought over like the O2 sensors and some other stuff, so I think we're gonna take care of this little knick-knack stuff, and we're gonna keep on moving on. All right, I also wanna give you guys a look. We put the tire, the wheel on. You can see how close these AKEBONOs are, but it clears. There's not gonna be any issue. Looks super good in there. I also told you that I was gonna do the pads, but we don't have the pads for the front. We do have them for the rear. So it's the same exact process, front and rear. The back ones are just smaller. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do the rear ones. We're gonna swap the rear ones, and then you can just apply it to the front. So let's start taking this one apart. All right, so because we are doing it on the rear, we're not doing it on the front, I'm not able to turn the wheel, unfortunately. But like I said, it's the same as the front. Just bear with me, it might be a little bit more difficult getting the camera in here and showing you. So the way these are set up is these are under pressure. They're holding onto these pins that go through here, and then it's essentially pushing down pressure on the pads, making it go through, these bars go through the pads so they don't move in or out. So the first thing you wanna do is you're actually gonna, I use a pocket screwdriver to find these clips, and then I'll take these out. One thing I like about the pocket screwdriver too is if you put it through it and pull it out, when you pull up on it, it gets trapped on it so you don't fling it across the garage. So I'm gonna put that on here, put both of them down right here. And then the next thing we're gonna do is if you push down on here, it'll make it where this actually pushes out really easy. So I'm gonna push down on this, I'll use a pocket screwdriver to push from this side and pull the pin out, and that will make this loose, and then we'll pull the other pin out like this. Man, this thing's kind of stuck in here. You can see the soot and stuff gets all caught up on here, so you're gonna have to like sand this down, clean it. It's not a big deal. And then you can see that the pads are just sitting in there. So because there's old pads in here, I'll use a screwdriver and I'll actually put it on either side here, and then I'll pry it open so that way it opens up the pistons on both sides, making room for the new pads. All right, pistons all compressed in there. Clean this out a little bit. You can see I just used 2 screwdrivers to pry it apart. Now we're gonna set the 2 new ones in there. All right, so the new pads are set in. Okay, I cleaned off with some steel wool the pins, make it a little bit easier. You can see that the little holes that are on the pads themselves, I lined up with these holes. These will go across. I'll put the top one in first. Okay, you can see the pin all the way in. One thing you want to make sure is that the hole is on this side, so when you put the locking pin in, it can't actually move the pin out. So now that we have this side on, we're gonna put the bracket on. We're gonna put this underneath, and then we'll put the next one on, pushing on this tab right here down, so that way it goes underneath it. So with the top one under, now I can feed this in, and you can see if I push down on this with my thumb, it'll slide back in, and that will hold all of this together. Last thing I need to do is just put the pin in each of these holes, and we are done with the pads. It's full sleeping, but he's been trying to figure out, I guess I showed you guys in the last video the ICT bracket stuff. Where did I put that? Oh, it's right here. So we have the ICT bracket stuff. However, now looking more into it, we're kind of concerned that this is going to be in the way, because on the model where he got this from, they actually have an electric water pump. So this all goes away. So now we're hoping that this bracket is actually going to fit. You can see on here. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's an electric power steering. see how the bracket kind of goes up, so we're concerned it might be hitting here. So this is the next challenge we have to do. So I'm gonna try and lay these out, put these together, and see if this is even gonna work, because if not, then we're back to the drawing board trying to figure out which way we're gonna go.
What the next one is.
Huh?
If this don't work, then I'm gonna do the complete LOJ accessory drive.
Oh, okay. So then if we do that, then that actually uses all of the 350Z G35 stuff. So we'll be taking off the power steering pump from the LS motor. We're still going to be using the compressor from the G35, but then we're going to be utilizing the power steering pump from the G35 also, and then the alternator as well. So let's hope.
Alternator will be the factory G alternator.
Yeah, factory G alternator. So let's hope this works. Hope I can set it in here where it doesn't hit.
Like that will probably be damn near the easiest option, other than having to put the power steering lines back in. It's like that way we know it works. The AC and everything's gonna be where it has to be at. There's no iffiness on the belt.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna be able to put the power steering lines in, only for the fact that you can see the header runs where the power steering lines go. The factory ones. So we'd have to figure, that's not that hard though. Chase bays, all kind of stuff. Yeah, it's AN stuff. It's not hard to figure out, but this, because of the accessory drive from the Corvette, that's not the F body like that's in my Z, that's in Myke Z. This is creating new challenges, especially the fact that we're trying to use AC, because again, our cars, both of our Zs don't have the AC compressor in there.
The simple solution for this is?
Take out the AC compressor.
Chop the fucking, or smash the shit out the shock tower and make it fit.
Yeah, I mean, he's right, because this is the part that's like causing the issue, but I don't want to, like, this car is too clean. We can't do that. We can't do that. So that's like,
it sucks, man. All this to make AC work, dude.
Well, you know what? Let's see. Let's pull the stuff out of the ICT bag and let's see if we can get this to mount up.
So what I was saying is, after looking at it, when I seen the model picture,
look, you can even see on here on this model picture.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I'm worried about, like, all right, let's say if it sits here, the belt has to run this way around it. I mean, if it clears this water neck, then that's more so, because it's gonna have to come back down, and then around here. It's like, how the hell are we gonna get wrap around the alternator? If it's coming right here, it's not gonna touch this point of it. We're literally gonna be free spinning the alternator by just this little.
Won't this go over, under, up, and then around, and then it can go under here?
Yeah, but the crank wrap, the crank's literally gonna be being spent by like this much.
Oh right, yeah.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah. So you guys can see now kind of the predicament that we're having.
I don't see it working.
Well, I better open these bags nicely then.
It sucks. I mean, I know for sure that after this, I'm gonna order the LOJ stuff. The LOJ stuff will work. It just sucks because then
it's expensive. We have to take apart everything, and we have to utilize stuff that's completely different from what's on here.
Yeah, I think it'll be cleaner though. I think the LOJ stuff would snug it up, because then I think the power steering sits right here.
Oh, I forgot about that pulley up there too. Yeah, because it'll go up and over. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's going.
Yep, I forgot about that pulley up there. I didn't see it. Damn it.
Guarantee that's gonna be where the issue lies at. Right here.
Yep. Yeah. So like in the picture, yeah. So that is an electric. I keep on saying power steering. No, water pump. It's electric water pump. And if you guys don't know the electric water pump, it actually, the bell kind of goes like this, so it actually eliminates this whole thing here, and that's why I guess the ICT one. Hey, or you could do that.
What, electric water pump?
Yeah.
I hate electric water pumps.
I mean,
it's like more shit to fill.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd rather just do the LLJ kit. All the LLJ accessories, and then like it literally moves all this right here. All this goes. I'll have to use like a reservoir somewhere over here or something, or the factory G reservoir. Still got it?
Yeah.
All right. We'll probably use that. So then I think, yeah, sits on the same side. It just sucks, man.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I've ever like wanted to keep AC on one of these swaps. So
yeah, that's the other thing. That's like making it. Yeah, exactly. Well, and not only are we keeping AC, but it's also different accessories that we're used to using. So normally these are flopped. The alternators on the bottom The power steering is up here, so we don't really have any clearance issues. So because we have the clearance issue with the alternator on the shock tower, we had to find a way to move that, which we did. But now because we're moving that, now the belt's not going to work. So that's creating a new problem on what accessories can we use. It's just it's a mess.
I mean, even then, it's like, now what I'm worried about is like, let's say we do, all right, we make this alternator work, and then we throw on the LOJ alternator bracket, and I mean the AC bracket. Next thing you know, it's like oh, it hits this or whatever. It's like, I think the LOJ mount kit or the LOJ bracket accessory drive is made to work with all the stuff. Because they have an option. It's like you buy their accessory drive, and then it's like, oh, would you like the AC accessory stuff too? Everything. So, but man, if I knew this from the gate, it would have been so much easier.
All right, so Mike just left. He took that ICT relocation kit, and I think he's gonna go home, and it's kind of back to the drawing board. So right now, I think that's gonna call it for this video. You guys see how much we got done, but you also see how much stuff that we were dealing with. The thing that he kind of brought up that I didn't realize, that I forgot about this either on here, let me show you why this won't work. Because this is essentially where that alternator would be, and so trying to run a belt down even under here, we tried doing writing out like a whole bunch of different variables, and it pretty much came to the conclusion that it's still going to cross here at some point, and we're going to be hitting something. It's not going to work in our favor, and we didn't know that it was an electric water pump on the diagram, so it was something that we didn't pay any mind to. So yeah, it's bringing us back to figuring out just what route we want to go with this. I think he's going to be at home looking at like the LOJ accessories and some other stuff that maybe will make it easy for us to make sure everything on the car works normally. This is not by any means anything close to how my Z, how his Z is. Like we keep talking about, this is the Corvette accessories, and we have the F body. So with the problem with the alternator not working, having to figure out how to move that over has just created a whole bunch of issues. And then with the AC, just makes it that much more. So yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna hear from him a couple times today. We usually bounce ideas back and forth off each other. But the way it's looking now is that we're probably gonna go with the LOJ accessories, just to make sure everything works, you know, tried and true with the car. We can't use the GM, God, I can't even think right now, AC compressor, because the body harness controls the AC and it won't talk to the GM one. So that's why we're using this compressor off of the G itself. And also why I'm not doing anything with like the ATI damper or anything on the engine today is because we don't really have a direction to go, and I don't want to put something on to have to take it off again. We did get the brakes on today. They look super good. I hope the tutorial helped you guys. If you guys have any questions about it, you guys know you can always DM me or send me a message or whatever. Man, this car, it does look good though. So the only other thing we got to do, we're going to start fresh in the next video. We're going to do the arms. I need to do the little shifter cup and the little shifter extension that he has on order. And then pretty much everything underneath the car is going to be wrapped up. Oh, I got to do the front pads on here too, but no big deal. I showed you how quick they go on there. But yeah, this video is long enough. I hope it's helped you. I hope you guys are like, you know, understanding kind of the trials and tribulations we go through building these cars. But we love to put it out there, let you guys know that it doesn't go just smoothly, not all the time. I mean, sometimes it does, but when you try new things, when you try to do different things, it's even better for you guys out there to be able to see that, hey, oh, Aaron and Mike ran into this issue or whatever, and now we have, you know, kind of a solution for you. So not only does it help us figure out a solution and learn that much more, but it gives you guys some insight and solution if you ever run into anything like this. So anyway, I think that's gonna call it for today. The girl just got home from work. I'm gonna go inside, hang out, probably, you know, send a million texts back and forth with Mike to try and figure this whole little debacle out. But yeah, I hope you guys have been well. I hope your families have been well. Please stay safe. It is Memorial Day weekend. And so, yeah, I hope you guys are well. I'll see you in the next video. Much love. Peace.